The Shining is one of the most talked about movies on the internet. It's full of analysis, theories, alternate theories, sub-alternate theories, and ideas that are just plain nuts. Its popularity is well deserved, but I'm talking about Stanley Kubrick's version from 1980. But there was an ABC miniseries in 1997. Yes, really. Almost no one wants to talk about it, and there's a good reason for that. But here, I'm going to give fans of the book and fans of the Kubrick film 5 reasons you can enjoy watching the miniseries. I would give you 6, but I couldn't think of another. Keep in mind, my alternative theories mentioned within may cause anxiety, rage, or disbelief, but I hope that's why you're here. Number 5. Get a better adaptation of the book, but not a better movie. Kubrick's vision for the Stephen King novel often gets knocked for being a lousy adaptation. If we pretend the movie, The Lawnmower Man, didn't exist, and we can't, some would argue The Shining is the poorest example of an adaptation of Stephen King's work. That's because Kubrick made a terrific narrative of the novel, taking the ideas from the source material and tell the story visually in creative, if not different, ways. This of course caused a great difference of opinion between King and Kubrick, and between fans of the book and fans of Kubrick. So much, the world eventually got the ABC miniseries in 1997. Its screenplay was written by the author himself. What could go wrong? Well, plenty, but that's not why we're here. The miniseries gives fans of the book the chance to see how close the images in their heads while reading the book match what was up on screen. Whether that would be the Danny Force Ghost, the fire hose, and the Topiary, my favorite part of the book, by the way. For those who want but haven't read the book, and be honest, unlikely ever will, the miniseries is the closest thing to the book without going through the trouble. Right down to the dialogue, and the dialogue, and the dialogue. It's as dramatic as turning a page, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Fans of the 1980 film can more appreciate what Kubrick did with the source material. Much of the book is in the film, just not in ways you'd expect. Hedge maze instead of hedge animals, the importance of the elevator, and Danny's friend who happens to live inside his mouth. So if you're curious how the novel plays out in a movie without the influences or artistic direction of Stanley Kubrick, the miniseries is for you. Number 4. Fresh or different takes on characters. Have you ever wanted to know more about the people inside the universe of The Shining? While the characters from the film and miniseries stand apart from one another, the miniseries shows another side, some dramatically different than Kubrick's version. Because the miniseries is so aligned with the novel, we get to see the inspiration of characters as originated from the source material. Jack is a caring father, full of regret and trying to rise above his addiction. Halloran is more of a mentor and jovial. Ullman is confrontational, but was right all along. The two Dannys are as different as their haircuts. Both represent their times, except one style comes back and the other never will. And then there's Wendy. Instead of a timid and emotionally fragile depiction from Shelley Duvall, we get a strong female protagonist in Rebecca De Mornay as King envisioned. She stands up for herself and makes it known the limits she's willing to put up with. While kudos to De Mornay for being faithful to the book, Duvall's performance is what we remember as legendary as it was, as much Kubrick made her suffer for it. The characters are so different at times, it's almost as if we're seeing a different story between the two. This can be easily explained away, because we're seeing a different story. Number 3. Explore more of the Overlook. Stanley Kubrick made the inside of the hotel grand and opulent as well as haunting. Not even pantries were safe from the overshadowing feeling of creepiness. Like a resort should be, there seems to be places around the corner that are interesting, a good place to hang out. In another Stephen King story about a hotel, what makes a place like this intriguing are the creature comforts, fooling you to be more comfortable than you should be. Add in themes of the supernatural or paranoia, and those rooms come with their own backstory, whether it's explicit as in room 237 or as elusive inside the Gold Room. The miniseries gives us more places to explore unseen in Kubrick's film, thanks to tours given by Watson and Halloran. We get to see the basement and the origins of the scrapbook. We get more of the boiler room that's more of a big deal in the book. Even the Overlook's roof is bad luck. The best example of how the miniseries explored the Overlook was through the scrapbook Jack discovered. Yes, that one. Through Jack's imagination, we see the extravagant parties, the famous guests, and all the opulent festivities the Overlook was known for. We also see the hotel's descent into madness, mayhem, and murder. Jack quickly falls in love with the place and begins his unnatural relationship by dropping his writing project that was supposed to kickstart a new career. It's not too long until Jack is drawn into the party in real time. Not too different from Kubrick's vision. While some of the other rooms are lackluster and tiny in the miniseries compared to the film, it's sort of an expanded universe where we get to peek inside new places. Number 2. The Topiary, but not the CGI. My favorite part of the book was the topiary, the hedges trimmed into shapes of animals that stalk Jack when he's not looking. King's writings put us inside Jack's head, and he doesn't know at first if it's his imagination or not. The miniseries restores this part of the novel, foregoing Kubrick's idea of a maze. The idea is executed well enough early. While we know beforehand it's not going to be as good as the book, as soon as we see the hedge animals move, thanks to early days of CGI, we're certain it's not good at all. The miniseries overlooked what made this scene in the book so memorable. That's not seeing them move. Anyhow, devoted fans of the book could forgive the miniseries for trying, but that's reaching deep. Before we get to number 1, like, share, or subscribe if you enjoy this video and want to see more content about The Shining and Kubrick films. That's one simple click. It helps me out so much in deciding what content to make next. Number 1. Get answers to lingering questions from Kubrick's film. The film is a house of riddles built on a foundation of mysteries. Many of Kubrick's ambiguities are openly answered in the miniseries. While the answers are not canonical in Kubrick's film, it does give us probable explanations that we long wondered about. Is the booze that appears in front of Jack that he drinks real? How does he walk out of the pantry? Does Jack have the shining? Who got to Danny inside that hotel room? Where did the scrapbook come from? All answered in the miniseries. But there is one question the miniseries does not answer. That is, what's the deal with Jack and the photograph? Let me know in the comments below. What's your favorite part of the miniseries? This is Mr. G of Synergy saying, happy thoughts keep us young. Check out other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.